Good evening. Hi everyone, I'm back. Yep, after 6 months without the camera show, I'm finally back and things are better than ever. No, I was really busy. I was doing work as opposed to this, which is all fun and games. I am living in a decrepit shell of a house which has needed a lot of work on it and a lot of clearing out and a lot of decluttering, and those are my excuses for not coming on for 6 months. Also, I was running low on good material to talk about and good cameras and stuff, so I needed the show to lie fallow for a little bit while I built up an amazing stockpile of cool stuff to show you and footage. I'm not going to put out a show just because it's Thursday. No. I'm waiting till there's actually cool stuff to show you. So thanks everyone for waiting, and I hope there was something online, something other than this show you could do in the meantime. I'm already getting stories from on the chat. Old Radios went and bought 2 regular 8s, 5 Super 8s, 1 16mm in the interim. Manny's in the house. Hi Manny, good to see you again. He says good to see you again as well. Hello to everyone in the chat. Anyway, so Old Radios, my house. Yes, we seem to be kindred spirits. I'm not wearing the blue shirt today because my mate Costin gave me this cool t-shirt. This cool t-shirt with some kind of I don't know, a Nizo or something on it. I think it's a Nizo, I'm not sure. I ought to know, being me and everything. Anyway, how's everyone doing? Great, good, great. Shall we talk about the show? Shall we talk about what's coming? This is the first of a little mini run of shows I'm doing. I've got probably about enough material for 4 shows, and I will space them out. I'll do one next week. The week after that, I'm not sure. Maybe the one after that. I'm hoping to reach show number 40 by the end of the year. So that I promise you. What are the shows going to be about, these next few shows? Well, one's another camera auction mother load, where I'm going to go through a whole bunch of new cameras that I've got. One, I finally started doing color reversal. That's Ektachrome in E6. So finally I'm going to do a color reversal show. So that'll be fun. I'm going to do a show where I'm going to put every single splicer I have in one box, and I'm going to go through them all. I'm going to show you all my splicers. And if you think that won't cover an hour, it certainly will, maybe an hour and a half. I've got a lot of splicers. They seem to just gather. Finally, I'm going to do a show. Well, I'll do a Christmas show, of course, and then we'll see what happens then. Hey, awesome shirt, says Old Radio. Thank you. I'm not even sure where it comes from. A mate of mine got it, I think, off the internet. So let's start with some news in the world of Super 8. And firstly, I'm going to go into my little box here. So here we go, and let's get the main picture off. Oops, not that one. This one. Now, what's up in the world of Super 8? Well, unfortunately, some sad news to start with. That's right. Lenny Lipton died. Lenny Lipton, he was my, fantasy guest on this show. Unfortunately, I tried to get in contact with him. I tried some people who might have known who he was. Came up a blank. Turns out the guy was ill, so he probably best to leave him alone. But he's yes, Lenny Lipton, the Puff the Magic Dragon lyricist. He wrote the words to Puff the Magic Dragon. We used to sing that at school. And it says a 3D filmmaking pioneer. Yeah, he died. Not only did he do all that stuff, he did an amazing amount of stuff, but he also did this. He wrote the Super 8 book by Lenny Lipton. It's I've talked about this before. It's an amazing book. It's just full of everything you need to know about Super 8, except for some of the more modern stuff. But yeah, so very sad. Old Lenny Lipton. There he is. So let's all spare a moment. I was kind of like, yeah, I was I would love to have met him. He did so much interesting stuff. Also, the Queen died, but she was never really a big wheel in the Super 8 world. So who cares, eh? Oh, there's girls in the chat here. Girls for XYZ says best adult dating site. Hey, thanks for tuning in, girls.xyz. You related to sex.69. They were commenting earlier as well. The bots, don't you just love them? The sex bots. Hey, Lenny. Anyway, what am I doing? What else am I doing? Oh, yes, I did some more Super 8 workshops. Hooray, here we are. Here's my website, Zero Budget Film School. And yeah, I've got a couple more coming on November 26th. I'm doing a Super 8 beginners class. On November 27th, I'm doing for the first time, I'm going to hold a Standard 8 class. So if you're going to be passing through London on any of those dates, want to come down, hang out, do some filming, do some developing, come to zerobudgetfilmschool.com. Let's have a look at a little bit of footage that we shot for the last one. Let's see, what have we got here? Oh yeah, here's from the color workshop. Very nice. This was Kodak 200T, this film. And here's some footage that my pupils shot. Yeah, we went to Hampstead Heath. One of them actually, as you can see, shot... Oh, where have I gone? Here I am. You can't look at the film without looking at me looking at the film, can you? So here's the stuff that they shot. Nice stuff, 200T. It was an autumn day, very crisp. Got a bit cloudy later, but the 200T handled it like a champ. The developing job's not the best I've ever done. In fact, some of the marks on the film here, because I wound it up before letting it dry out completely. Whoops, that wasn't right. So it's funny, because some of my pupils did it as held the camera sideways, did portrait mode. Never really thought of doing that. So there's some very nice flower shots at the end here. I believe these shots were done on a Canon 814 XLS. I think. Yeah, look at that. Nice. Got that kind of negative color to it. Not negative color, but the 200T color, yes. And yes, God Save the Queen and all that. Now, should we have a look at the black and white stuff? What I did with the black and white. Here's some old Kodachrome developed as a negative in, I believe, Caffenol. That's an old favorite. Came out very nicely. What else we got? Oh yeah, and some Fomapan, which we developed in as a reversal in Ilford LC29. And then for the very last bit of film, I did the second developer in the Caffenol that we used for the Kodachrome, and it came out amazing. One of the best images, still images, I've ever got from Super 8. Let's go forward a bit, and I didn't even shoot it. So this is all shot by my pupils. There's a bird, there was a plane, and here's Superman. Where is it? Let's have a look. Oh, here it is. Look at that! I'm going to freeze frame that. What an amazing shot there. Like nice bokeh. I think it must have been like an f1.4 or something to get that blurry background there. But just look at the texture of it. That's so lovely. I love it. It's like a Robert Mapplethorpe flower picture. He took pictures of flowers, did you know? Anyway, so that was what we did at the workshop. And if you, whoops, oh no, sorry about that. If you want to do another workshop with me, yeah, come down November. I know that my audience is international and not everyone can get down to London, but hey, I could come to where you are if you pay my flight. Right, now let's we'll get that off there. What else? Let's see. The workshop footage. Oh yes, here's something coming up. I am doing a Exploding Cinema with my Exploding Cinema buddies. This is also in London, though we're moving around. We've done some dates out of London recently. Exploding Cinema on Saturday, November the 19th. We're going to go to the Cinema Museum, which is this most amazing place in London again. We put projectors everywhere. We put projections. We show films. Oh, there's the audience watching a film in the Cinema Museum. There's all this cool like cinema ephemera there. And yeah, we have a good time. It's explodingcinema.org. I've started to put all the links to all these things in the description below. So yeah, if you want to go to the description there, there's some shots from a previous show at the Cinema Museum. Yay, a bit of a plug there. Now let me tell you about Raid Shadow Legends. No, not really. You all switch off, and I wouldn't blame you. I'd switch off myself. Yeah, lovely. So come on down to Exploding Cinema. Oh, let's see what all the comments are coming thick and fast here. Manny says, I have some FOMA double Super 8 that I'm shooting right now. Looking forward to seeing the results. Yeah, it's great stuff. You got to do it as a reversal, though. If you do it as a negative, it comes out too dark. Old Radio says, if you think a Niso, Bolio, or Canon is expensive, try saving for a Bolex H16 Rex 5. Yes. Yeah. You pay a pretty penny, don't you? Right. What's left? What's next? Oh! Well, we're just romping ahead now, aren't we? We're going to go to the main thing of the main. Let me get myself up here. Yes, we're going to up to the main thing of the evening. The subject of today's show. There we go. Old Radio says, how about Raycon? Yeah, screw them. I don't even know what they are. Just switch right off. Hey, get an ad blocker, everyone. Don't let the capitalists win. Get an ad blocker. There's ways of getting around the ads on YouTube. So yeah, YouTube. If you see an advert before this show, please bear in mind I'm not getting any of that money until I get a certain number of hours viewed. I don't share in any of that. That's all going straight to YouTube. So, yeah, what are you going to do? They provide a free service. Well, it's free-ish, I guess. Anyway, Manny says, that looks so much fun, Exploding Cinema. Yeah, it is, Graham. It's fun if you're an audience member. It's slightly less fun if you have to set all that stuff up. But, hey, you know, you gotta break eggs to make an omelette. So, what are we going to talk about today? Talking of eggs and omelettes, we're talking about fixers. That's right, fixer. Now, fixer doesn't get a lot of love in the self-development darkroom thing. Fixers are kind of an afterthought. Fixer, what is Fixer for a start? What does Fixer do exactly? You know what? I tried to find a really concise and easy to follow description of what exactly Fixer does, and the best thing I found on YouTube, I looked around, but I didn't just go to YouTube. I went to a few other sites, and the absolute best, let's get that away, was by, I think it was a school project by someone called, let me get the name right here, Shivani Agarwal, an amazing, very, very clear and very nicely presented video all about the chemistry of film development. Barry Steinlug says, did I miss much? Not an awful lot. Go back to the beginning after I've finished and you can see what you missed. We're on to the main subject now, so let's have a look about what does Fixer do exactly.
After that, the film needs to be put into a fixer solution to remove the leftover grains of silver halide. This prevents the film from reacting further with light and forming another latent image. Since silver halides are not very soluble in water, they need to be converted to soluble compound.
A common fixer that is used is sodium thiosulphate. The silver halide crystal dissociates and the silver ions react with the thiosulfate ions, forming a soluble silver thiosulfate ion.
Brilliant. Just how can you say it simpler than that? Give Shivani Agarwal an A+ for that. In fact, I've even put the link to the whole video in the description. So anyway, Fixer gets Fixer's just kind of an afterthought, but I was thinking, you know, it's very trendy these days to make developer out of natural things. I've done it myself, and I've featured it on the show. If you remember the Daggy Brondert episode, where developer made of, you know, coffee and sort of weeds growing out of the pavement and grapes, and you can make developer out of all sorts of stuff. And you can make stop bath from just vinegar, and you can make bleach out of lime juice and peroxide. Okay, peroxide's a bit of a chemical, but then, you know, what about Fixer? Is there a natural fixer you can do? Is there something you can make Fixer from that will do the job, but you don't have to go out and buy, you know, Ilford Rapid and all of that business? Well, I looked into it and I found out that the chemical that people use for fixer is mostly people use something called sodium thiosulphate. And I thought, well, if a thiol can develop a fixer, then maybe we can find thiols, which are sulfur compounds containing the group SH, sulfur hydrogen. Maybe you can find those in nature. And I seem to remember that onions and garlic and things of that nature have thiols in them. So I thought, well, let's boil up a ton of onions and get the juice from that and see if it'll work as a fixer. Right? So that's what I did. I went and found not a ton, but I found a fair amount of onions. In fact, I found, let's have a look at the, what are the thiol compounds here? This is interesting. Look at this. Well, let's look at this, but I'm not showing you yet. I found a scientific paper all about the identification of thiols in yellow onion using solvent-vented large volume injection. Okay, it gets a bit technical, and I'm not gonna go through the whole paper here. But look at that. Sulfur compounds in onions are 1,1-propanediol bis 1-sulfonol propyl sulfide, 1-methylsulfonol 1-propanethiol, 1-propyl sulfonol 1-propanethiol, and 1-allosulfonol 1-propanethiol. No, I'm not having a stroke. These are some of the compounds you get. I mean, we're talking like wide spectrum thiols you get out of onions, right? So let's see what happens when I try to extract thiols rather, from onions. Let's go into the screening room, because of course I documented. Oh, no.
After that, the film needs to be put into a fixer.
Beg your pardon. Right, let's see what I did on my time off. Here we go. Where is it? Here we go. A 4-kilo bag of onions, which cost only £1.90. Yep, I found a Turkish supermarkets. They're really good for very cheap whole bags of onions. And here's what's left. We had to chuck about 4 of them away because they'd gone a bit soft and mouldy. So yeah, I got all the onions out. This is a sack. A lot of onion. A lot of usable onion for £1.90. Amazing. Now, Old Ray says, did you wear goggles to keep your eyes burning? You know what? In retrospect, I wish I had. Because I was, I had to do a time lapse here. You know how long it takes to skin and chop onions? Well, quickly, and yeah, some of them were a bit moldy. Then chop, put them all in a pot. I didn't know how much to use. I just filled the entire pot with onions. And then I'm going to have to just cut the audio sometimes on this, because I was listening to a podcast at the time. Don't want to get sued by Doug Stanhope there. Anyway, nice. Boiled them up, and then brought to the boil. It was kind of difficult to do it without letting it boil over. And this, this shows a passage of time. No, my clock hasn't been going wrong. I did a bit of a time lapse on the clock just to show that some time passed. I think I boiled them for about 2 hours. And yeah, it's a whole kitchen and an entire house stank of onions after that. And then, yep, here's the juice. Let it go a bit. Oh, something popped into the bottom of there. Kept on boiling for much longer than it looks like on this clock. That's just a illustration there. Come on, I should have edited this down a bit more, but it's hard to work out how long you're going to be talking for. There we go. Now it made this very thick juice. This basically it's onion stock. Now this would make quite a nice base for a soup or something. In fact, I think I did use a bit of it for cooking. I think I got the onions that I boiled up there. There's me getting the rest of the juice out of there. Got about 1 litre out of there. Now, when there was more than 1 litre, but I don't need a whole litre. I'm just doing tests here. So yeah, that's what was left over. This kind of sloppy kind of onion stuff. It made quite a good relish for a hot dog later on, but there was so much of it, I ended up chucking a lot of it. So I let it settle. It smelled nice. It smelled all right. And then, okay, so what have we got here now? Here's where we get onto it. What I did, I shot the test strips. I shot the. I did some shooting on. Barry says a few carrots, garlic, peas, and a stew meat if it doesn't work out. Yeah, I tried to. I didn't want to waste any of it. I did try and use as much of the onions as possible. So I shot just a street scene on some Orwell UN54 on my Sankyo ES44XL. Not sure why I used that one. And then I made 5 fixers, 5 tests. I shot some. Some of it I used no fixer at all. I just rinsed it in water because you've got to see what happens if you don't put any fixer at all in there. Second one, of course, I used the Kodak Pro fixer, so you got to see what happens when using the proper stuff. And then I made an onion broth with salt, and then just water and salt, because I'd heard somewhere that salt water can also be used to fix. So I want to try that as well while I'm at it. So there's my buckets with the salt. Some of it has stock with salt. And after about 6 hours, after about an hour or so, I got to see these little bits in the onion juice. And I thought, what's those bits? I looked closer and they're all square. Interesting. Bit closer than that. And what are these bits hanging in suspension? They are, of course, salt crystals, which are cubes. And they're hanging around in the onion broth. And then when I left it all for longer, because I heard you have to leave salt water to fix for like 24 hours or something. So I left it for a whole 24 hours. And more of those crystals, there we are, they started appearing. That's the onion and salt. And after 24 hours, I took them out. And look at this. So anyway, that one on the left is the onion with salt water. The one in the middle is just salt water, and the one on the right was just onion juice, onion broth. Making me hungry, says old readers. Okay, so here are some results. That was the entire results strip there. So these are the fixers again. 100 grams per 200 mils, 100 grams salt. Anyway, so these are the fixers again. And let's see what I did. I'll get some. I looped the few frames that did come out on of the various different strips. Only a few frames. So this is just water, and it was very thick. It was very dark. It was almost impossible to get an image through it. There was an image there with an extremely bright light. You could probably get an image through. Okay, and this is number 2. This is when you with the Kodak Pro fixer. If you don't count all the bits and pieces like on the film, that does an okay job with the fixing. And then now this number 3. This was the onion broth with no salt. Not good, I'm afraid. Not any better than just tap water. So that was a bit disappointing. Very, very faint image that I had to, boost a bit even to see anything. Then the onion broth with the table salt is the next one, number 4. Here it is. Much better. Much better. I think the salt might have helped. Well, it definitely helped because the difference between them is like night and day. And then number 5, this is the salt only. Looks a bit rough, but the actual film itself looks pretty good. So, yeah, the salt worked. Now, this is the onion broth with salt after I took it out and before I washed it. You can see it's got this kind of thin film of kind of like just sort of salty, oniony, soupy nastiness stuck to the film. And the interesting thing is, no, this was onion broth and salt. Let's look at the next one. Oh, did I pause it? No, I didn't pause it. It's just a long freeze frame there. Barry says, can you check the crystals for silver? God, I have no idea. Now look at that. It's going to get really good in a second here. On the right is just salt. And interestingly enough, when I took the film out of the salt water, it was covered in crystals. When I took it off, all the crystals just fell off. But when I took the onion and salt film out, the crystals all stuck to the film like this. And I got the old USB microscope out, and I got some amazing close-up pictures of what that looks like. Look at that. Those are the salt crystals. This was overnight, by the way. I left it overnight, and the film got covered in these amazing cubic salt crystals. Apparently, if you don't want that happening, you have to keep the solution warm. It has to be very, very salt saturated and kept warm so the crystals don't come out of solution. Now, look at this. Look at the marks that the crystals made on the film. This is after I rinsed it and got rid of all the salt and everything. So it looks like the salt crystals were kind of growing on the film, maybe even preventing it from being fixed in certain parts. And it does make this interesting little sort of kaleidoscope-like pattern of squares and shapes on the film itself. Some more close-up pictures with the USB microscope, because, you know, these pictures, they were too good not to share, really. Look at that. Amazing. Don't put that through your projector, for God's sake. You try explaining that to the projector repair person, if there's such a person even still exists. Look at that. Amazing. And they were stuck. I could hold that. I should shake that around, and they were stuck solid to it. Nice. In answer to your question, Barry, I have no idea if you can check the crystals for silver. I don't know. Somehow, I think they would be a different color. Silver crystals, dissolved crystal, silver kind of makes everything dark. So I'm not sure there was any silver. There might have been silver in the salt solution, but the actual crystals, I'm pretty sure, were just pure salt. So what I thought I'd do then, because you can refix film. No, that's not what I did then. Okay, so here's what I did then. I thought maybe the thiols were destroyed by the boiling. Maybe that 2 hours or whatever of boiling the onions kind of denatured the thiol compounds and broke them down into other stuff. After all, you know, 1,1-propanethidyl sulfonyl propyl sulfide sounds like it could break down to something simpler. So what I did is I thought maybe just the pure onion juice will do the job. So I then I bought a whole nother sack of onions, and when I cut them, I noticed this kind of milky fluid coming out of them. This stuff I can only describe as some sort of jitler came out of the bottom of the onion, so you can see on the knife there. So I knew I was on for a good, and then I put them through a juicer and probably made everything after that taste of onion. There we go. I'll just enjoy this moment. This is before my haircut. Wedge.
Oh my fucking life.
Oh yeah. The assault on my eyes and nose was pretty bad. But I got that much juice out of about half a bag of onions. Yeah, just smelled very, very oniony. And yeah, that was the pulp left over of the onion pulp. And I thought, well, waste not, want not. Maybe I can do something with that. And I looked up what can you do with the onion pulp from juicing. And they say, oh, you can hide it in soups and stuff. Oh, what I thought I'd try and do was I fried it up. I thought maybe fried onions, maybe I can... Yeah, not a good idea. It was bitter and utterly disgusting. But anyway, so so here's the juice that came off of that. And I let it settle a bit. And yeah, well, after don't want all that foam on it. So I thought, okay, onion juice. This has got to be the most like powerful, concentrated essence. Oh, I got to cut the sound again. So I found I have a very old, half-broken developing tank here. I thought if I'm going to stink up some of my equipment with onion juice, I better use something that I don't use very often. So inside a changing bag, I then put some more of those shots, those amazing shots of the street of a van in there. I developed it, stopped it, and then inside a changing, I filled that with the onion juice. Old Radio says, looks like beer. Yeah, you want to play a prank on someone. Put that in their pint glass. I'm telling you, it smelled bad. Yeah, and that was the sludge at the bottom.
It smells really bad.
Yeah, it did. It didn't. I mean,
really nasty.
Yeah. So I put it in there for
It smells awful.
Thank you. We get the message. I put it in there after 2 days. It went pink. I actually kind of forgot about it in there. So I put the film in there. I thought, okay, give it 2 whole days to fix. I poured it out. Smelled absolutely disgusting after 2. I think it was starting to go really off. It had gone a bit pink and nasty. Anyway, so then what I thought I'd do is I took half of the stuff that had been in the onion juice, the pure onion juice, and I thought, well, you can refix film. So when it came out of the juice, it still looked very black and very unfixed. So I thought what I'll do is I'll tear it in half, put half of it into proper Kodak fixer in this thing here, and we'll watch it all clear with the proper fixer and see whether it's 2 days in the onion juice did anything to it. Hey, Filmboy24's here. Hi, Mike. Yeah, you go back and watch from the beginning if you want to see what it did up to now. So anyway, I filmed that. I filmed it for a good like an hour or so to see if anything happened. And I sped that up. There's just the setup I used with DSLR filming the there we go. And this is sped up. So like about an hour of fixing. And precisely bugger all happened. So even putting it in pure Kodak fixer didn't fix it after it had been in the onion juice. So the onion juice, not only did it not fix it, it prevented fixer from fixing it. It's an anti-fixer. Look at that. After 2 days in the onion juice, nothing. Not a sausage. And then after the onion juice and the fixer, what do we get? Okay, that's just the fixer. That's just pro fixer, just to show you what the picture was. And then onion juice for 2 days, then pro fixer came up with, what did we find after that? Again, almost nothing. You can just sort of see the van there and the sky, almost nothing. So, conclusions. Don't do what I did, for goodness sake. Onion fixer does F all. The only thing it does is to make the salt crystals stick to the film if you've mixed salt in with it. Okay, it sticks to the film and then it prevents any more fixing going on. It even stopped the film from getting refixed, probably because it had gubbins on it from the onions. I don't know. Okay, so why? What did I do wrong? What have I done wrong? Okay, what I've done wrong, what I did wrong, I did a bit of research, after the fact, which is always the best time to do your research. After you've spent days cutting onions and trying to fix film in it. And well, here we go. So what I discovered was this. Thiols, as you can see, they are sulfur hydrogen crystals, also called mercaptan. A thiol, it's called a mercaptan. Interesting. They're organic. It's organic, and it's an organic molecule that has a sulfur hydrogen bond. Whereas sodium thiosulphate has got nothing to do with thiols. It's not even organic. It's a salt. It's an inorganic salt. My dumbass. Look, this is sodium thiosulphate. There's no sulfur hydrogen bond there. It's just it's sulfur and oxygen interspersed with molecules of sodium. So that's what you need to dissolve the silver, not a thiol. All the thiol's going to do is stink up your wherever you do it. So that was basically, that's why I failed my chemistry A level. And then did English instead, because I was getting words mixed up with chemical symbols. Well, you live and learn. So what do you do if you want to fix your film? And maybe you want to do it organically, maybe you want to do it on a budget. What have we got here? Well, here's the classic thing you used. It's something like this, Ilford Rapid Fixer. Old Radio says, but it made some good soups. Learned the hard way, like I always do. Yes, we are. I've got a word for us watching this. I'm sure we all are. We are autodidacts. That's right. If someone says, are you an autodidact? You say, yes, I am. Autodidact means you teach yourself this stuff, which is much more preferable than my old chemistry teacher, who was a bastard. So I learned in the comfort of my kitchen, not as a depressed teenager. Anyway, Ilford Rapid Fixer. This is the classic stuff. This is 1 litre. It makes 5 litres of stock solution. All these prices are going to be in pounds. I'm sorry to Americans, but you get the idea. Maybe you can get it cheaper there. But that costs almost, say £20 for 5 litres. Now, what else can you use? Well, I found this stuff. It's interesting. This Bellini Fixer. 11.25, much cheaper. Turns out this is not concentrate. This is just to make 1 litre of stock solution. So that's twice the price of Ilford. It's probably decent quality, at least at that price, I hope it is. What else can you do? Well, what about if you made up the fixer out of crystals and chemicals? You buy the dry compounds yourself and add the water. What's that going to do? Well, let's see how much 5 litres worth of sodium thiosulphate. £25.27 plus 4.15 postage. Call it £30 for sodium thiosulphate to make 5 litres of sodium thiosulphate. Thing is, you actually have to also add what have I got here? Some sodium bisulfate or citric acid to that. Yeah, that works out to be a bit more expensive, I think, per litre. Than the Ilford. And finally, what have we got here? Yes, salt. How much does salt cost these days? Oh, Barry says mercaptan is what is added to propane to give it the skunk smell. Yes, they add smelly stuff to gas, don't they, as well? Yes. You're that's very interesting. I do believe there's some kind of There's a company in the UK that makes the smelly chemicals they put in gas, and only one company makes it because it smells so disgusting that no one wants to deal with it. And this company turns out to be 2 blokes in a shed, and they make all the smell for all of British gas because that stuff is so powerful. Anyway, let's get back to the salt. 2,000 grams. Well, for 5 litres at 400 grams a litre. You need 2 kilograms of salt, so that costs £10.99. So how does that all work out? Shall we look at the sums here? Yes, we shall. Here we go. I've written it all down. So let's work it out. For 1 litre of stock will cost you £4 if you get Ilford Rapid Fixer. If you get the Bellini Fixer, it's £11.25 per litre of stock fixer. If you buy the thiosulphate and the sodium bisulfate, that's coming to like £6 for a litre of stock. Of course, you could buy like a whole 100 kilograms of the stuff from a swimming pool to supply shop, because sodium thiosulphate, one use of it is to reduce the amount of chlorine in the swimming pool. So you could buy it in huge amounts, but it doesn't look like you're saving much for having to mix it yourself compared to Ilford. Salt. Well, you need 400 grams per litre. That's a very concentrated salt solution to fix your film. And that comes to only £2.20 per litre. But then, you've got all that business with having to dissolve it, having to keep it warm. How are you going to keep it warm? Where's the energy going to come from for that? And power costs money these days. Well, it always did, but it costs a lot more than it did. So you got to keep it warm. You got to dissolve it in water. You got to wait 6 hours. Yes, it's going to be cheaper. And maybe if you're somewhere where you cannot possibly get hold of fixer, at a pinch, you could use salt. You could use sea salt. So there you go. 400 grams a litre. Oh, and a bag of onions only costs £1.90 at my local Turkish supermarket. So I think the takeaway lesson you can get from here is Ilford Rapid Fixer is still the best fixer you can use. You can reuse it. 1 litre of concentrate will last you a good length of time. Yes, if you're really worried about the environmental impact of stuff like sodium thiosulphate and everything, go ahead, use salt water. Don't blame me if your film ends up with little squares and crystals all over it. Oh, you can blame me. What do I care? And I by all means, if you're on a food budget, get one of those big bags of onions for £1.90. Unbelievable deal you can get there. Anyway, well, So it goes. That was the fixer experiment. And I hope we've all learned something today. Now, should we watch a film? Should we finish up with a little movie from yesteryear? Yes, of course we will. Let's go. Let me go into the screening room here.
A 4 kilo bag
no,
of onions.
Let's forget to switch those damn things off. Right, we're going to watch a film now. We're going to watch a film on my my nice projector, and it is a film that came with a projector. I bought a projector on eBay. Well, it wasn't for me; it was for Exploding Cinema. And unfortunately, the previous owner had forgotten to take the film off the projector before sending it, and unfortunately, the person who sold it, it wasn't their film. We don't know where this film came from. I can hazard a guess when it came from, as you're going to see by the clothes. Ooh, I think we're looking at the 70s here. Anyway, let's turn on the DSLR. There we go. Yay! Just to show you that this is a really alive picture of my wall. There we go. Yes. And now the turning off of the lights. Oh, God. There goes one. There goes the other. There we go. Right. Now, let's see what people were doing. Let's look through our time machine and see what people were doing back in the day. What music should we have for this? Shall we have some nice light jazz? Is this a light jazz? I don't know. What are we listening to here? I can't hear it. Oh no, that's not it. There we go. I think that's some music there. Nice. Okay. All right, and here we go. It's a garden with a dog. That jiggly, that jittering will end in a minute. Hey, guy's doing a bit of gardening. It seems. I think he's doing some weeding. Look at that. He's using a scythe. See, that's what they used to use back in the day, back in the 70s. Or is it a sickle? Is a scythe got a long handle and a sickle? I think it's a sickle. Look at that curved blade, yes. Oh dear, I imagine those weeds have grown back by now. There's probably luxury condos built on that site, wherever it was. It does get a little more interesting than this. Look at that, look how much weeds the guy's got. Weeds, plural, not weed. Oh boy, that would be funny though, if this old geezer's chopping huge weed plants down. Anyway, off we go to the compost heap. I wonder if he asked to be filmed or whether his partner just sort of said, "Oh, let me try out the new camera." Oh, he's probably getting the garden ready for the people coming around. That's what I reckon. Where was this and when was this? Who knows? Maybe I can look at the edge markings. Guy needs a weed eater, says Old Radio. What is a weed eater, by the way? Not the obvious answer, but yeah, it's one of those things. Ah, no, here we go. Look at these people. The hair, the clothes, old school cool. I think the guy's got some sideburns. My God. Manny says, "Cool show, Ben. Thanks for all the work, bud. I've wondered about the fixer issue." Yeah, well, wander no further. These are probably old ladies and men this time. Look at this guy. Oh dear. Bit of rumpy pumpy going on there. Oh dear. And this kid's probably my age. I reckon. This was the 70s. Giving grandma a watering can. Oh, isn't that sweet? They're filling up the can with water. Some things don't change, do they? Nice colours on this. We're looking definitely Nice. I hope you can hear me above the music. I have a problem of drowning myself out with music. Oh. Just a normal scene. I imagine England, or it could have been Wales, could have been Scotland, could even have been Ireland. Could have been anywhere in the world, I don't know. Oh, they've all gone now. They've probably gone inside to listen to Gary Glitter or something, or to watch Jim will Fix It on TV, or Rolf Harris's Cartoon Time, you know. You know what I'm talking about. Oh, look. What a lovely garden. Still jittering a bit, never mind. Oh, a weed whacker. Oh, that's it then. There we go. That would have cost probably like £5 back in the day. They put an end, what's it called? End leader on it as well. Lovely stuff. Whoops. Oh dear, I shouldn't have done that. That was switched it off before it was ready. Oh boy. Well, that would appear to be that. Let's just have a look at. Whoops. No, not that. Let's have a look at. Do I have my end credits? Oh god, it's in lowercase. Never mind. Close enough. 10th of November in 1 week, and I'll see you all down the line. Bye.